What's going on, guys? This is David Womack with Rhythms of Nature out here in the Pacific Northwest of Washington. And today is a real rainy day. And on these days, I really like to just kind of take it easy, but they're perfect for crafting. And why not a perfect day to take you along on a little scavenger hunt with me to find some materials to make some adhesive primitive glue. And this is the type of glue and adhesive that our ancestors from the indigenous days would gather these materials and put them together to make their glue to adhere their arrowheads to arrow shafts, and glue different flint knapped knives to handles, and all sorts of things. So what we're going to be gathering today is some sap from these trees to make this pitch. And we're gonna get some sap. We're gonna find us some deer scat or some elk scat. And so that sap is already a really sticky glue kind of substance, obviously, right? So we're gonna take that and boil it down, and we're gonna slowly add some of this scat, once the scat's processed through the deer or the elk, and it comes through and it has these microscopic fibers of grass, and when you're adding that into this sap, it acts like rebar and concrete, right? And to top that little mixture off, usually what people would do is like a 1-to-1 ratio with the sap and the scat, and then some crushed up coal from like a hardwood in the fire, right? But today I'm gonna do a little bit of coal, but here in Mount Tahoma, on the riverbank of Mount Tahoma, this volcano from Mount Rainier, there's old volcanic stones, grandfather stones that have been here from ancient time, right? And after a time of decomposing and the matter and the organic living organisms helping to break down the tree matter, the leaf matter, and combining that with this organic volcanic ash and stone and lava rock, I've found below the real coarse sandy loam on top of the riverbank, you get below that, it is the perfect substance for this glue, and I've used it on many of things, and it lasts and holds up true for years. So let me take you through this scavenger hunt and walk you through my own personal custom little combination of pine pitch. Let's get it on. Okay, so here we go. We're following this trail right here through the woods. And here we have it. We've got some scat. And this is going to be perfect. This stuff has really microscopic pieces of grass inside the scat. And once we mash this together and add it to our mixture, this is going to be the rebar for the pitch. All right, let's go find our other materials. Here we have this beautiful elder tree that's producing all of this sap all over this tree, so it's definitely in abundance here. And you're really looking for some harder pieces and harder, bigger pieces, but you can come through here and pick this out and collect it off the tree and take your time gathering the sap. Okay, and we're gonna gather quite a bit of this to kind of get our ratio in line with the scat that we got. Okay, here we are on the riverbank. And you can see a lot of these stones are a lot of volcanic stone here. And here on the riverbank, on the sand, on the sandy loam, you kind of get down to the bottom of some of this stuff. It's this real fine decomposed matter from the lava rock, the trees, the leaves, and just all sorts of a really beautiful blend of organic matter here that's decomposed over the years, with an addition of this lava rock and the ash from this volcano here, Mount Tahoma. And Mount Tahoma in the native language here translates to the mother of waters. So very sacred lands here, and very blessed to be using this here. And we've got our mixture, and we're gonna go and start boiling this down. Okay guys, here we are with the beautiful sacred fire and our little crafting area. And we crushed up some sinew that's soaking here in the bowl, okay? And we got our sap, our scat, our coal, a little bit of organic matter, soil. And in this clay bowl, I've got this pinhole here. Okay, so we're gonna take all this out and we'll boil this down on a simmer, okay, over the fire. And we're gonna pour it through this little hole right here to this transfer bowl. And what that's gonna do is help to kind of remove some of this bark as it's transferring through that hole. And then once we have our sap transferred to here, we'll slowly add some of our scat and a little bit of this coal and soil, okay? And once we do that, we're gonna add it to this flint knapped agate antler handle knife that I've been working on. And this antler came from my grandfather. I actually traded some knives, and for a rack of antlers, he harvested off of a deer that he honored in the past. And so yeah, we're gonna fill this in with some of the pitch, and once that cools down a little bit, we're gonna wrap it with the sinew, and we're gonna have a little flint knapped knife here. So let's get it on. All right, so I weighed down the sinew with these rocks in this bowl, and the sinew's soaking, the water's starting to warm up, and sinew's starting to almost become pliable. And our mixture right here of sap is starting to melt down slowly. and just taking its time, right? So we're just kind of letting this do its thing and melt down until we can pour it. Just slowly letting this sap go into the other bowl here, okay? Just taking our time with it. I'm just shifting the extra bigger bark pieces so the rest can fall through the hole that I put in the bowl. And I've got this much bigger, harder piece right here that I collected in eastern Washington. And we're gonna let this melt off this piece of bark and add it to the pitch bowl that we're creating. All right, so we're getting this really good little mixture here, the sap, and about to pour it into this next little batch and add it in. So we're over here crushing this scat and getting this all separated a little bit, all these microscopic pieces of grass that we're gonna add to the blend. And we're crushing this coal here, and we got our soil. Okay, so we're gonna add some of this scat, okay, to this mixture here. Doesn't take much. And I just kind of do this by eyeball. We're gonna take some of this river sand here. And just a little bit of that. Just a little pinch. Just like adding salt to your food. And then a little bit of coal. All right. So we're mixing this guy up. Okay, it's starting to cool off a little bit. And you can start wrapping it around the stick. And you can actually let this harden up and use it for a rainy day later on, right? And this stuff should be, when it's cooling down, you should be able to start kind of just barely working with it until it hardens up. And so I'll be able to put this away for a rainy day. Okay, so this is the consistency we're working with here. And we're just coming right over here and pouring this on into the knife. It's already hardening, and we'll let that cool off, and then we'll rotate the knife to the other side. Okay, and as it cools down, you can just kind of work with it. All right, and this is already getting pretty hard here. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate this knife, and we're going to pour into here. And we'll most likely have to rewarm the sap and pour it into the bottom of this knife, and then we'll be ready for wrapping with the sinew. Okay, we're taking the sinew out of the bowl, and some people will take pieces of this and already peel it away, but I kind of let it sit and start peeling it like that. And our pitch is definitely hardened up on this knife. It's definitely rock hard. Sucker's not going nowhere. So now we'll begin wrapping the knife with the sinew here. Okay, so here's the knife all wrapped with sinew, looking real nice. And what we'll do now, I'm going to place this by the fire and let this sinew slowly cook, and that pitch will actually adhere to the sinew and the bone and the flint knapped agate all over again, and all this will harden up and it'll be ready to go. All right, guys, well, there you have it. What a beautiful day with working with all these elements from the sacred Mother Earth and showing you how I make my mixture of primitive adhesive glue, and really honoring the old ways of our ancestors. And what a beautiful way to just make this really beautiful craft and primitive knife, and just to honor those ways. Just so blessed. So thank you for tuning in, and have a great day. Until next time.